Hello, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, Dr. Harvey and students. My name is Taina. Today we're going to be talking about literary devices. Many of you may know what it is, or maybe none of you know what it is, or maybe there might be some type of in-between. Perfectly fine. There are so many literary devices to talk about, and we're not going to talk about all of them, but we're going to talk about the main ones that are introduced in the novella that we're going to be reading, The Stranger. So, the novella was published in 1942. The author is Albert Camus, and like I said, he uses very literary devices. Before we read The Stranger, directions. In class, students will use a tech device, whether they use their personal phone or I will be renting out Chromebooks from the library, and they can also use that to access Jamboard, a Google tool. There are 6 slides with one literary device and a question slide at the end of the 6 slides. Students will give an educated guess on what the literary device and can give an example by using a sticky note that will be located on the left-hand side of the Jamboard. If a student doesn't know the answer, perfectly okay. You can write, I don't know. This is not a competition. It's not to know who knows more than the other. I just want to see where everyone is and see if there's maybe a literary device that everybody knows, that we don't have to focus on that one as much as maybe another one. The assignment will be part of students' participation. You will get participation credit for doing the assignment, so I very much appreciate everyone participating in the assignment. Now, when you give an educated guess, there's 2 ways you can do it, whether by giving a definition or you can give an example. Either one is fine. This is the Google Jamboard. If you press the Google Jamboard link line underlined, it sends you straight to the link of Jamboard. This is how it looks. This is symbolism. That's one of the literary devices, motifs, existentialism, and if you keep pressing through, you'll see the other 3 that were there. Now, these are the main ones that are talked about throughout The Stranger. However, we will be discussing just very slightly other ones that are, talked about throughout The Stranger, but these are the main ones I really wanted to focus on. After the Jamboard, we will then read The Stranger. We will read 3 to 4 chapters a week. However, there will be weeks that we only read 2, but this is like the goal of mine for us to read 3 to 4 chapters a week. We will discuss each chapter in class, and I will answer any questions that you may have to the best of my ability, and hopefully you'll be able to better understand what a literary device is and be able to understand The Stranger, because it is a bit complex, like I said before. I recommend students taking notes while they're reading, and while we have our little circle of discussion. I know for me, I'm more of a person that I like speaking things out, but also writing it down because it helps me remember things better. So after the reading, then we will have to complete a Google form. There are 10 questions in the Google form worth 25 points. There are multiple choice questions and open-ended. The quiz is worth 10% of your grade, and if you press the link, it sends you straight to the Google form. This is how it looks like. So this is the calendar. These are the dates. October 3rd, which is a Monday, we will do the Jamboard. After the Jamboard, any questions will be answered to the best of my ability. There will be maybe discussion. Maybe if you want to give an example of what symbolism is, I will tell you if it's right or wrong, or if we're on the right path, or maybe if, I'll try to guide you guys to the best to my ability. The same week of October 3rd, October 4th, which is a Tuesday, to October 7th, we will read chapter 1 and 2, which is part 1 of the novella. 10th to the 14th of October, we will read chapter 3, 4, and 5. The 17th and 21st of October, we will read part 2 of the novella, chapter 1, 2, and 3. October 24th to October 27th, we will read chapter 4 and 5. Now, I am perfectly fine if we are kind of finishing up a few pages in chapter 5, the 27th, but that day, the 27th, is really what I want to focus on, reviewing the whole book, discussing the whole book, and answering any questions students may have about the entire book or about a certain chapter, and be able to connect certain literary devices. That's like the main day. I want to basically do a bunch of studying that day with students. So for the next day, October 28th, the Friday, kids will be able to, or students will be able to fill out the Google form, and that will be the quiz. Now, there might be certain days, for example, let's say the 10th to the 14th, chapter 4, 3, 4, and 5 will be read throughout that week. If for some reason chapter 3 is stretched out to the second day and we have 3 or 4 pages left and we have not finished it, I will ask students to take the novella home, finish reading the 3, 4, 5, 7 pages, and we will discuss it the next day, the chapter, and we'll go on to the next chapter. The novella is very short. It's about 150 pages long, so there really should be no reason for us to have to take extra days. And that's pretty much it. Then my goal for us as a class is just be able to distinguish between different literary devices. I want you to be able to know the difference between naturalism and existentialism. That's just an example. Or symbolism and metaphors, or similes and metaphors. And be able to better understand each literary device and give an example of each, and recognize literary devices in the text. I want you to be able to read The Stranger, and throughout reading The Stranger, be able to point out symbolisms or examples of motifs, or see repetition of themes. And that's pretty much it. Those are the 2 assignments I will be doing with The Stranger, and hopefully everything goes well. Okay, thank you, and have a nice one.